Testament of Shim'on, chapter 1. A copy of the words of Shim'on, which he spoke to his sons before he died in the 120th year of his life, at the time when his brother Joseph died. While Shim'on was sick, his sons came to see him, and becoming stronger, he sat up, kissed them, and said. Testament of Shim'on, chapter 2. Listen, my children, to Shim'on your father, and I shall tell you the things which I have in my heart. I was born of Yaakov, a second son for my father, and Leah, my mother, called me Shim'on, because Yahweh had heard her prayer. And I became extraordinarily strong. I did not hold back from any exploit, nor did I fear anything. My heart was firm, my courage was high, and my feelings were dispassionate. For by the Most High, manly courage is given to men in soul and body. In the time of my youth, I was jealous of Joseph, because my father loved him more than the rest of us. I determined inwardly to destroy him, because the prince of error blinded my mind, so that I did not consider him as a brother, nor did I spare Yaakov my father. But his Elohim and the Elohim of our fathers sent his messenger and delivered him from my hands. For when I went to Shechem to procure ointment for the flocks, and Reuven went to Dothan where our supplies and stores were, my brother Yehudah sold him to the Ishmaelites. When Reuven heard this, he was sorrowful, for he wanted to restore him to his father. But when I heard it, I was furious with Yehudah, because he had let him go away alive. For 5 months I was angry with him. Yahweh bound my hands and feet, however, and thus prevented my hands from performing their deeds, because for 7 days my right hand became partly withered. I knew, children, that this had happened to me because of Joseph, so I repented and wept. Then I prayed to Yahweh Elohim that my hand might be restored, and that I might refrain from every defilement and grudge and from all folly, for I knew that I had contemplated an evil deed in the sight of Yahweh and of Yaakov my father, on account of Joseph my brother, because of my envying him. Testament of Shim'on, chapter 3. And now, my children, pay heed to me. Beware of the spirit of deceit and envy, for envy dominates the whole of man's mind and does not permit him to eat or drink or to do anything good. Rather, it keeps prodding him to destroy the one whom he envies. Whenever the one who is envied flourishes, the envious one fades away. Out of the reverence of Yahuwah, I chastened my soul by fasting for 2 years, and I came to know that liberation from envy occurs through reverence of Yahuwah. If anyone flees to Yahuwah for refuge, the evil spirit will quickly depart from him, and his mind will be eased. From then on, he has compassion on the one whom he envied, and has sympathetic feelings with those who love him. Thus his envy ceases, and forgives those who are hostile to him, and so ceases from his envy. Testament of Shim'on, chapter 4. Now my father was inquiring about me, because he saw that I was sullen, and I said to him, I am inwardly in pain in my liver, for I was more sorrowful than all of them, because it was I who was responsible for what had been done to Joseph. And when we went down into Mitzrayim, and he placed me in fetters as a spy, I knew that I was suffering justly, and I did not lament. But Joseph was a good man, one who had within him the Ruah of Elohim, and being full of compassion and mercy, he did not bear ill will toward me, but loved me as well as my brothers. Guard yourselves, therefore, my children, from all jealousy and envy. Live in the integrity of your heart, so that Elohim might give you favor and esteem and berakah upon your heads, just as you have observed in Joseph. In all his days he did not reproach us for this deed, but he loved us as his own life. He extolled us more than he did his own sons, and he showered us with wealth, flocks, and produce. And you, my children, each of you love his brothers with a good heart, and the spirit of envy will depart from you. For that attitude makes the soul savage and corrupts the body. It foments wrath and conflict in the reason, excites to the shedding of blood, drives the mind to distraction, arouses tumult in the soul and trembling in the body. Even in sleep, some malicious jealousy fills his fantasy and consumes him. By evil spirits it stirs up his soul and fills his body with terror. In distress it rouses his mind from sleep, and like an evil penetrating spirit, so it manifests itself to human beings, and as a wicked and poisonous spirit, so appears it to men. Testament of Shim'on, chapter 5. Because nothing evil resided in Yosef, he was attractive in appearance and handsome to behold, for the face evidences any troubling of the Ruach. And now, my children, make your hearts virtuous in the sight of Yahweh. Make your paths straight before men, and you shall continually find favor with Yahweh and with men. Guard yourselves from sexual promiscuity, because fornication is the mother of all wicked deeds. It separates from Elohim and leads men to Beliar. For I have seen in a copy of the book of Henoch that your sons will be ruined by promiscuity, and they shall injure with a sword the sons of Lewi. But they shall not be able to withstand Lewi, because he shall wage Yahweh's war and will triumph over all your battalions. These forces distributed among Lewi and Yehudah will be few in number, and from you there will be no one for leadership, just as our father predicted in his berakah. Testament of Shim'on, chapter 6. See, I have told you everything, so that I might be exonerated with regard to your sin. If you divest yourselves of envy and every hardness of heart, my bones will flourish as a rose in Yisrael, and my flesh as a lily in Yaakov. My odor shall be like the odor of Lebanon. Kodesh ones shall be multiplied from me forever and ever, and their branches shall extend to a great distance. Then the seed of Canaan will be destroyed, and there will be no posterity of Amalek. All the Cappadocians shall be destroyed, and all the Hittites shall be wholly obliterated. The land of Ham shall be wanting, and all that people shall perish. Then the whole earth shall be at rest from trouble, and everything under the Shamayim shall be free from war. Then shame shall be esteemed, because Elohim the Master, the Great One in Yisrael, will be manifest upon the earth as a man. By himself will he save man. Then all the spirits of air shall be given over to being trampled underfoot, and men will have mastery over the evil spirits. Then I shall arise in gladness, and I shall barak the Most High for his marvels. Testament of Shim'on, chapter 7. And now, my children, be obedient to Lewi and to Yehudah. Do not exalt yourselves above these two tribes, because from them will arise the Savior from Elohim. For Yahweh shall raise up from Lewi as it were a Kohen Ha'Gadol, and from Yehudah as it were a sovereign, Elohim and man. He will save all the nations and the tribes of Yisrael. For this reason I command these things to you, and you command them to your children, so that they may observe them in their successive generations. Testament of Shim'on, chapter 8. And when Shim'on had finished his instructions to his sons, he fell asleep with his fathers at the age of 120 years. They placed him in a wooden coffin in order to carry his bones up to Hebron. They took them up in secret during a war with Mitzrayim. The bones of Yosef the Mitzrites kept in the tombs of the sovereigns, since their magi told them that at the departure of Yosef's bones there would be darkness and gloom in the whole land and a great plague on the Mitzrites, so that even with a lamp no one could recognize his brother. Testament of Shim'on, chapter 9. And the sons of Shim'on uttered lamentations for their father, and they were in Mitzrayim until the day of their departure by the hand of Moshe.